Hello, my friends. I'm Rachel Archelaus. This is Carrie Roldan. We are a part of the Intuitive Art Academy, and today we're going to talk to you about your good news. We're going to celebrate with you. We are going to make sure that you recognize your epiphanies as really special and amazing. We are going to make sure you milk those achievements for as long as you possibly can, because that is all so worthwhile. Not just for your instant mental health boost that you'll get, but for your vibrational attraction power. So we actually have an entire call in our group coaching dedicated to dream casting and celebrating because it's so magnificent for you. So, Carrie, this is your realm of expertise. Is there anything else that you want to say about it before we get started?
Well, yeah. I think I want to say that what do I want to say about it? I think it's human nature, or at least in Western culture, a lot of us have been raised to like kind of diminish our own stuff, right? Not toot our own horn, not be too big for our britches, not like all the things that we've been taught, right? We've been sort of like celebrating yourself could be considered like arrogant. And yet we all love celebrating. Some of us feel uncomfortable being celebrated, but we all love celebrating. We like being in the feeling of something amazing is happening right now. I'm thinking about, sports teams and how they have parades when the team wins, right? We all just want to be a part of the excitement of something good happening. And there's like some science behind what can happen inside of your body when you're in the excitement of something good happening. But vibrationally, right? No matter what, if I'm celebrating you, Rachel, or if I'm celebrating myself, or if I'm celebrating somebody in the chat, right? We're all in that vibration of something good is happening. And what we know is that when you're in the vibration of something good happening, you are bringing towards you more good happening. And so that's what today's about. Today is about making sure that we bring more good happening. And so if it is uncomfortable, it's like for me, sometimes celebrating others is easier. So fine, start there. Because eventually you'll be able to celebrate yourself. You'll be able to celebrate, like you might start with something good's happening in my neighborhood, and then eventually get to something good is happening inside of me. And so I just want to say, wherever you are, start celebrating and watch the incredible things that happen in your life as a result of it. It's the same as appreciating, just a little twist.
Yeah, and I think when you can do it for yourself, you're building that worthiness muscle that is so important, because you're worth celebrating. You are worth feeling good more often, and what's the alternative, really? Is it finding a new problem? Is it thinking you need to work on yourself more? If we come, and I know Carrie loves this, if we come at ourselves from the perspective of our strengths, of our wins, of our, the things that are going well, that is going to bring us so much farther. That is compounding interest that will bring us into the future and keep bringing us more to appreciate. So practicing that worthiness muscle and really stopping and appreciating yourself and celebrating yourself, that is a magical sauce that will absolutely change all of the circumstances in your life, which is fun.
So I'm going to ask those of you who are in the chat, what are you celebrating today? What can you choose to celebrate today? What's your good news? What's the good news, my friend? What's something good that's happening in your life?
Yeah, big, small, doesn't matter. We're here for all of it. And I figured there's a little bit of a delay, and sometimes people are shy. No need to be shy. So I brought some good news to celebrate. So I did tell my dad about this live stream. Hello, Father, if you're watching. He puts me on his big TV. It's so funny. Hello, it's kind of funny. Just like getting in my own head. Isn't that funny?
I know. Here you are on the big screen, Rachel.
I'm on the big screen. Anyway, he has chosen to switch doctors. I know. So exciting. And it was a referral from his neighbor. So it's synchronicity. And I think for him, this is a moment of I'm worthy of better care. I'm worthy of someone who actually enjoys their job. And I'm worthy of feeling good. So way to go, Pops. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Okay, this is why celebrating is good. Is because this isn't just good news for your dad. This is good news for Rachel. So Rachel, what are you celebrating about your dad finding a new doctor? What's the celebration inside of you?
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing is your good news does affect everyone in your life. So I'm just celebrating like health, success, like self-care, self-appreciation. All those things are present here for him, which makes me feel incredible and like he's better taken care of out in Connecticut where I'm over here in Utah. So yeah, very exciting news.
I see you have your Connecticut shirt on, but yeah, like I'm thinking it would feel good. Like it would be a celebration inside of me. Like I can feel a little safer, right? About not worrying about my parents, right? I can celebrate like, oh, feel a little better about that. So yay. Here's the thing, you guys, this may seem like a small thing. My dad decided to change doctors, but it's a big thing because it means so much more. So I am celebrating that with you. And I see Corinne has a celebration in the chat. She says, Amazon delivered my package to my actual address. That gave me a yawn, right? Because we're not just celebrating, they got it right. We're celebrating ease. We're celebrating specificity, right? Asking for something and getting it, showing up on your doorstep. Good stuff.
I love that. Yeah, ease is worth celebrating, folks. It's something that is showing us that we are functioning well and smoothly within ourselves. And so the world can function easily and smoothly outside of us. So yes, ease, amen. I love that so much.
All right. So what I find is once we start the celebration train, we can build and build and build on it. So I'm yawning already, which just means you guys watching have a lot of good things to celebrate. So don't be shy. Let us know your good news. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you my good news, which I have so much good news right now. So I'm going to go on a little celebration rampage. So number one, I am still in my pajama pants. I am celebrating that I have created a life where I get to work from my couch in my pajama pants, talking to you, just doing whatever the heck I want. I had a moment of celebration this morning when I was journaling, just like, I created this. I created this life. Like there was a time when this was a dream, like being able to work from home and make enough to support myself and make my own schedule and just show up and be awesome. Like all of that was a dream. So I am celebrating that, like, I'm living my dream life. I'm also celebrating that I'm dreaming bigger, that I'm celebrating more and more clarity on what's next. Like I'm celebrating that there's a new stirring inside of me that feels good and feels passionate and feels excited. And it is familiar and fun. And so I'm celebrating that. I'm also celebrating, you guys, some movement in an area of my life that has been that has felt like a perpetual cycle of kind of like crappiness. there's some movement there. And so what I am choosing to view this movement as good news, right? And so I'm celebrating the fact that I can see this movement, the most recent development. I am able to see it through a lens of, this is good. It's taking me toward what I've been asking for. What else can I celebrate? Oh, I can celebrate my son is homesick from school today, but he's feeling better than he was last night. So I'm celebrating that. Celebrating drinking enough water today.
Yay! Such good things. I love that. I love standing in your own truth, noticing that there's been an area of stagnation, and then also just going back to yourself, knowing that you can handle that from the inside and then seeing it change. That's incredible. Yes.
Yes. And I want to celebrate this too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do right now, but the thing that happened prompted me to like want to respond. And I like, fired off like a text message, and then I was like, I'm not going to send it. And then today I woke up and I'm like, I need to find my voice around this. And so I wrote this email but I was like, I still don't know how I want to respond. Like, do I want to do this publicly? Do I want to do it privately? Right? Like, how do I want to be in this? And I'm celebrating processing it. Like, I'm celebrating who I am in the process of deciding. I know there's no wrong choice. I'm grateful that I have like people in my life who can reflect me back to me. So I'm celebrating that. But I'm also celebrating like feeling good enough about who I am to know it's all working out. And I just get to be in my truth in this. And that feels really good. So yeah. So I see something from Gina Maria. Oh, she says, I stopped by to say hi from Gallup, New Mexico. I'm on the road. They said there was a storm. I must be parting the seas. So celebrating Gina Maria, not what? Like no storm. She's killing it. She's just out there.
That's so great. I love that. Yay. So I'll share. So I did wear this shirt on purpose because this is my old track shirt, one of them. And it says Connecticut National Track and Field Youth Program. And then you'll have to help me if I'm in frame.
You're good. 1993 state finalist.
Yeah. And I loved running fast as a kid, and I was really good at it. And then I went through my, difficult years, didn't really think about running. And now I'm really, really back. And it feels great. It feels great for me specifically to know that I'm getting back into something that I used to love and be good at. And it's nice to see that I'm taking it easy and taking it one step at a time and not just kind of like rushing ahead like I tend to do and then losing interest. So I'm really feeling into every time I go out and enjoying the process and letting my body adapt, even though I did go a little fast for a couple days, but feeling great. And it just feels so good to reconnect to something that I used to love. And also celebrating my youth too. I mean, I don't know how much I celebrated it then, but that was such a cool thing to be a part of. I was part of a team as well as doing my individual stuff. So it was really fun. And Carrie was talking about those events yesterday, so it made me think about it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's important to I want to celebrate you, Rachel, so I remembered something about myself. Oh, this is interesting. I remember something about myself that I wanted to celebrate, but then I decided to celebrate you in the thing that I remembered about myself. So I'm actually going to take that back. I'm going to start with myself, and then I'm going to go to you because I want to celebrate the both of us. But you're talking about running, and that is an area of expertise of mine. That is something that I have been doing for over 30 years, and I've been doing well for many of those years. And I've done at like a very high level. So one, I want to celebrate where I am now. So like you were celebrating your youth, I want to celebrate whatever you call where I am now, my middle age. I want to celebrate who I am as an athlete now. Rachel and I both have sort of like had this like rediscovering of our athletic selves. And for me, it doesn't look like more running. It looks like less running. But it looks like being more consistent. And I hope to be able to run more, but I had an injury. I had almost 2 years of injury, and I feel back to myself. I like released 10 pounds. I have been lifting more. I have been doing supplemental workouts on the Peloton. And when I look in the mirror now, I see my athletic self. And that feels amazing. That feels so good. And so I'm celebrating that. But I'm also celebrating that, like, I know my shit. Like, I'm really good at what I do. And I do have a track record of success. And I am capable of kind of making big waves in that world. And that's something I've been a little afraid of for a long time. And so I'm just celebrating, remembering that, like knowing that. And what I wanted to celebrate in you, Rachel, is the way that you learn, the way that you dive deep, because you kind of said like, I'll go hard at something and then but every single thing that you have like dove that you've dived. What is that? What's the plural of that? I don't know. You've gone deep in, right? Has produced this like little file in your brain, this wealth of knowledge, this area of expertise that exists inside of you. And so I'm taking a class right now. They're like, are you a polymind? And it was basically like someone like you who like is an expert in so many different things. And so I'm just like high five celebrating you for all the things you've chosen to go deep into. And because of that, you have this breadth of expertise, which is really cool.
Well, thank you. Yes. And I'm definitely doing that for sure. But I think for me, I'm just trying to approach this with more embodiment, right? Instead of being a floating brain, absorbing all this information, I'm making sure to ground it all and to not let the knowledge and the technology I get go farther than my enjoyment of what I'm doing. Because I've just learned over time that this is the way that's going to work best for me. And so I'm practicing that this year as best I can. And it's going well. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for the acknowledgement. And you too. I mean, I've been consulting Carrie a lot on this running journey, and she's just like always there with the facts and the figures and the encouragement. So, if it's hard for you to celebrate yourself, obviously Carrie and I are very good at this. We practice this all the time.
Listen to how great we are, you guys.
So great. But what do you admire in those close to you? That can get you started, right? There's so much I admire about Carrie. And I do try to tell her that as often as I can, because I then also get to feel that, right? I feel it, whether it's about me or about someone else. It's helpful to be able to do it for yourself. But if you can't quite get there yet, what do you admire about those close to you or even those far from you? You can learn a lot about yourself by just looking into what are you consuming that makes you feel good? What are the ways that you are admiring people out in the world? I watched van content for such a long time before I got my own van and did my own van adventures. Last year, the year before, I was like addicted to watching ultra marathon runners on YouTube. And now I could really see myself doing something like that. So you never know where it's going to take you. And be gentle with yourself and just be open to trying something new, because now we're getting off on a different topic, but what you admire resonates, right? So just keep that in mind. What you admire in someone, in something, in some action is a truth for you somewhere. So figure out, do I just keep going? Am I not ready for like how it applies to me yet? That's okay. But if you follow something long enough, you'll kind of see where your truth intersects with that. And it'll be really cool to see.
So I sometimes do this in small groups when I get the opportunity to start with a brand new group of people and a relatively small group. And I did this with my mastermind that Rachel is a part of in our very like beginning meetings, I don't know, 7 years ago or something. I gave everyone a homework assignment, and the homework assignment was to make an affirmation video for each of the other people in the group. And so even though they didn't know each other well, their assignment was to look at the other person, or, you know, send the other person something basically saying like, hey, Rachel, I know we just met on the call, or, you know, I haven't known you for that long, but what I can already tell about you is that you're someone who is kind, or I've always admired your online presence, or whatever they say, right? But the idea is that you affirm them from the place that you are. And it wound out going really well because it was a group of highly intuitive women. But what I find is this works no matter what. It is easy. It's super easy to look at someone else and say like, gosh, you know, I just see that you have kind eyes, and I can tell just by looking at you that you're like a compassionate person. And gosh, being in your presence makes me feel at ease, or, you know, whatever. You start telling them. And then the twist was that after everyone affirms everybody else, then I remind them, you can't see it in somebody else unless it's active in you, right? Like what Rachel's saying, what you admire resonates, right? The truth is there are plenty of admirable qualities that I didn't recognize, right? Because I can only recognize what is already active in me, what is resonant. And when I do this in groups, it produces like a lot of times epiphanies, or I mean, people even like people are brought to tears on two ways. Number one, the person who is being affirmed winds up feeling so seen for things that they didn't realize that right? Like they didn't know they needed that validation until they got it. And then when you realize like, I couldn't see those things in you unless they were a part of me, then it makes the affirmer see themselves a little bit better, a little bit more truthfully. So I highly recommend, Rachel is onto something. If you can think of someone you really admire and then think of why you admire them, those things are your truth. And that is worth celebrating. Celebrate your truth.
Love it. So if you're new, if you just came in, we are celebrating you. So please share your good news, your latest epiphanies, your wins, your celebrations, and put them in the chat so that we can shout them out. And don't be shy. My audience tends to be really shy because I'm such an introvert, and you attract who you are. So I get it. I know it's difficult, but we'd love to affirm you. It would be so much fun.
Well, I can affirm the people who are here.
Nice.
So I'll go bottom to top. So Corinne, I want to affirm you. I love you. I see you. What I know about you from the way that you interact in this chat is that you are somebody who makes living in a high vibration a priority. You are somebody who pursues joy and ease. And I keep coming to high vibe living. Oh, goodness. You pursue that because it is your truth. I also have experienced you as warm, compassionate, welcoming. I get the sense that when people are around you, they feel seen. And yeah, you're just super good to know. So did you have anything else for Corinne, Rachel?
You're doing the best job ever. This is what Carrie does in our group. It's just incredible. I agree with everything that you said. Corinne, you're such a delight as well to have in the chat, and we love hearing from you.
Yes. Okay, Gina Maria, I want to celebrate you. Oh wait, Corinne, one more thing. I want to celebrate you in the way that you are you're a celebrator. You're a celebrator. So I want to celebrate that. Gina Maria, you are also a celebrator. I like Gina Maria is a member of our group, so I experience her in a little bit. I get more experience with her. Man, you are an embodier. You're an embodier. It's such a gift to be in your presence when you have an epiphany or a revelation. There is this thing that happens, like you can just see, like you can see your whole body integrating it. And it's super fun to watch. I also want to affirm you in that, man, you are like, I talk about the files in Rachel's brain. Like Gina Maria, you have so many files in your brain. You have a lifetime of transformative experiences and a whole bunch of different areas of expertise. It is a delight to watch you come into your strength and your power and your wholeness and who you are. Like, it's such a privilege to be on this journey with you. And there is something about you that helps others find their truth and their power and their embodiment. It may just be being around you, but you're totally worth being around. So I love knowing you. So thanks. Now, Rachel, do you have anything to add to Gina Maria?
Yeah, your sense of wonder brings you in so many cool directions. And I just love how you keep following that thread.
Ooh, wonder. That's a perfect word for Gina Maria. Like, yes, that sense of wonder. I love that. All right, I'm going up to, I don't know how to say your name. Is it Anilda? Anilda, I think. So my only experience of you is in this chat, giving us the good vibes and saying hello. But I'm looking at your profile picture only. So I'm looking, it's so tiny on my screen. I'm looking at your profile picture only, and I'm experiencing good vibes. I'm loving your hair so much. I'm loving, there's like a beautiful wildness going on to your hair in your profile picture. And I have a feeling that those words actually do a pretty good job of explaining who you are, that there's a beautiful wildness to who you are and how you approach life and how you see the world. And so I'm grateful that you're here. I want you to know that I see you, and that just seeing that comment in the chat about good vibes helps me experience the good vibes, which means you do that wherever you go. Anything else, Rachel?
You're so much better at putting these things into words, whereas I get the feeling of these, you know what I mean? Like we've known each other through YouTube for a long time. I've seen you around. And so I just want to say that you feel like you also have like a very soft, compassionate side. And you've left really insightful, wonderful, inspiring comments over the years. And I know you're a very strong person as well. Like, you make your own path. You're very capable. So yeah, those are the things that remind me of you.
Freaking love it. So how good does it feel to be seen, to be validated, to be affirmed, to be celebrated? Feels pretty good. Corinne shared another celebration.
Yeah, so cool. So she says, currently working on a book cover that I've been struggling with a bit. Today, I've been making strides with what works and what doesn't. It's movement forward. So yay. Woohoo! Yes. Movement forward is incredible.
Yeah, I was talking with a client about that because she has this habit of, well, one, congrats, Corinne. I didn't mean to, congrats. That's a big deal. But this forward movement, I think so many of us with really big dreams have trouble acknowledging the small steps along the way. So I want to celebrate you, Corinne, for acknowledging a small step, forward movement. And that's what I was talking with a client about, was just that she was saying, she has she has to figure it out. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. I have to, like, that's always her story. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, you don't. Just have to do the little thing. Just move daily in the direction of your dreams. And before you know it, you'll be there. Not like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Just a little step. And yeah, it's been really helping her. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Celebrate the small steps. Celebrate the little things and watch them turn into bigger things. I also want to acknowledge that Corinne celebrated us. So she called us two cool ladies. I think my children would disagree with me being cool, but I will receive that. I will receive that.
That's funny. Yeah, so why don't we talk a little bit more about the bigger picture of why this matters? So we just talked about how you don't have to figure it out, right? Why is that? Why is it not your job to figure it out or your brain's job to figure it out? It's because we are not just these people in these bodies, right? We have a bigger multidimensional being working for us, doing things, creating this world that we live in right now. We're a part of that. Our point of focus is here, but that doesn't mean the rest of us doesn't exist. And so our higher self, right, the bigger part of us, is only experiencing what we want. It doesn't have the contrast that we do here on this earth level. And so we're the only ones that are clueless as to where to go to get our good stuff, right? Or that it's even here already. So we've got these blinders on. Our higher self is experiencing all the good stuff. It sees the whole map. It sees where everything is. It's feeding us information all the time, right? And all we need to do is just be hooked up to that intuition, to that receiving mode, right? So we can receive the directions. And if we're good, if we're in a good receiving mode, then one step after another is going to bring us in the direction Carrie was talking about, right? Good news after good news after good news. There will be some little bits of upset for sure, but we'll know how to handle them. And so how do we then make sure we're participating in that properly, right? We need to vibrationally be a match to the solutions that our higher self is sending us. Otherwise, we're not going to listen. We're not going to hear it, right? We've all had those days where we're in a bad mood and somebody gives us a compliment and we think they're lying, or we think they're being sarcastic, but no, they were really being genuine. But we were here and they were here. Even though they gave us a compliment, we couldn't take it, right? Or someone is giving you the best advice ever for what you've asked for. You can't hear it, right? If you're not vibrationally matching the solution, it doesn't do you any good, right? Even if it's physically right there. So that's why we celebrate, to raise ourselves up to the solution level. That's why we focus on feeling good. That's why we meditate. That's why we practice our alignment things, right? Because we want to be at that solution level, that receiving mode, where all of this makes sense and works, so that we can always be stepping in the right direction. And you guys, that's a very personal thing. And so you can hire the best people around you, but if you don't have that sense of knowing your truth and knowing your receiving mode and knowing all about your resonances and how things feel in your body, hiring the things and following the advice, it's not going to do anything. So yeah, that's why we do this.
Yeah, because it's amazing. It feels good. And it's like everything Rachel said. And it's like the snowball rolling hill, right? Like that's what it is. It starts small and it builds and goes. And I was also thinking of the way you were talking about, I love it when you describe the higher self and you're like, you can see the whole map. Like you can't see the whole map. And I think about now, like me using my phone to see the map and like expanding things out, or anyways, it's a whole thing. I have an interesting relationship with maps. I have to put myself in them. Like I have to jump into the map. Anyways, all this to be said, my higher self can read the map and it knows what's around the corner. It can see the traffic jam ahead, or it can see that I can't see on my small view. And this leads me to remembering what you said on the initial reading for 2023. And you said, let serendipity be your calendar. Mm-hmm. And when you live this way, when you remember to live this way, at least for me, it's about remembering to live this way. Oh man, it's so fun to watch your calendar fill up with like serendipitous good fortune. Like it's so great. Or sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes like what's going on in my life right now, it didn't feel the greatest when it happened. Like it really did not feel the greatest when it happened. But like I am tuned in most of the time, right? And I'm finding joy right now and knowing like, all right, this is maybe this is a traffic jam on my path, maybe like, but higher self. Oh, yawning. You led me here. So here I am. And I'm going to choose to see this as a fortuitous event. I'm going to choose to see this as something that this actually is the path of least resistance, because I've been doing my part. I've been cool as a cucumber in it. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Yes. And I can bring kind of all of this together because we had this live stream 2 weeks ago about pricing. And I said how I'm really approaching this year from ease, from naturalness, from just like what would be super warm and comforting for me to offer and at what prices, right? And so I'm making a new website. I'm offering new things. I made my pricing really straightforward. You don't have to have a conversation with me to figure it out anymore. Which all of that in the past was fine. That was wonderful. It worked for me, but this year's different. And before my website was live, it's not live yet. Before any of these other people found out that I offered these things, I was getting texts from friends saying, my cousin wants a reading. Do you do this? And I got emails from new clients saying, do you offer this and that? Again, no one knows what I'm specifically offering yet, but I am offering newer things. So I am offering more readings and different kinds of coaching sessions. And these people were wanting that. And I would say, well, it's not live yet, but here's the skinny on what this is. And this is how much it costs. And both of them were like, yep, great, let's do it. And so I started off my week this week without having any kind of website or booking system live, but delivering the things that I'm going to be having on my website. And it was just wonderful. I did a mediumship reading for someone. Obviously, I do mediumship all the time. I talk to lots and lots of people who've passed on for myself and for my family. I think I have a cat hair in my tooth. Interesting. But I haven't done one for a stranger in a while. But it was so wonderful. I loved doing it. It was incredible. She got such a wonderful healing from it. And then I had a different kind of session the next day with someone new. And I loved having that session. And so this is all about synchronicity. This is all about being in alignment where it's easy. It's so easy. You don't even need a website, right? I just sent one of them a PayPal invoice. I sent the other one to my Celebrator. And easy peasy, so fun as well. And just didn't take any energy from me. Gave me so much love, so much warmth. And that's exactly, you guys can't see it, but I hung up that brown drawing that I did about getting paid to exist, right? These are the things I naturally do. These are the things I spend my time doing, regardless of whether anyone's paying me. And this is what I wanted to experience. And so energetically, they are coming, whether or not there's any kind of word about this out there on the internet. So this is what you can expect with clarity and with living your truth, right? You can expect the world to respond before you've even made the announcement, which I just absolutely love.
So, Rachel, you're celebrating that.
Yeah.
You're celebrating that, like, she didn't, well, I guess it's celebrating. You got in alignment with what you wanted, and it came to you before you were ready, before you put it out there, right? Because you're in alignment with it, and your higher self has your back. Dale says, love that, Rachel. Already in the vibe, and people gravitating to you without needing the action steps. Yeah. Rachel always says this, right? Everything you want comes to you.
And it's so good. Even these dots. We love the dots.
The dots, the dreaded dots. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about, like, I'm every session, my hair is like drying, and I'm constantly playing with my hair and my eyebrows. And Rachel is always avoiding the dots or moving with the dots on our calls. Guys, I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate each and every one of you for showing up for this, because when you're showing up for this, you're showing up for yourself, right? You're taking a stand for how you want to be in the world. If you're here, it's because you want to let your vibration do the work. If you're here, it's because you want to live a life of more ease. If you're here, it's because you want to be more fully embodied. If you're here, it's because you want to earn an incredible living doing only what you love. And so I'm just celebrating you for being here. Whether you're live or you're found us on replay, like, I'm celebrating you for making that commitment to yourself. So worth it. So worth it. And you, if not just that the commitment is worth it, you are worthy. You are worthy of everything that you desire. You couldn't desire it if it wasn't for you. You couldn't desire it if it wasn't already in here. I have a marketing friend who does this, like, this is like the good feeling, but man, I just love that. So just know that you are worthy and deserving of everything that you dare to desire.
I really love that. You know, I'm going to go back to something I said earlier, because sometimes, all right, we'll process. Usually Carrie's the one that comes for coaching. Here's my turn. So back when I was watching all this ultra marathon stuff, which is basically I was watching it on trails, like someone running 50K or 100 miles or 200 miles, right? And seeing them on trails and in the mountains and, or, you know, in Europe, and like just seeing the most incredible places in a couple of days or in one day, depending on the race. And I just thought, wow, what an incredible way to see the world. What an incredible way to be in these places that I love so much. You guys know I love hiking. But you can go farther and see more if you're able to run them. And I didn't think then there was any chance that I'd ever be able to do anything like that. I've never been able to run like more than 3 miles. I just have never done it. Doesn't mean I can't, but at that time I wasn't thinking that was possible for me. I couldn't run 3 miles last year. But this year I've been working on my running, and I will be able to run 3 miles really soon. And I'm back into watching ultramarathon runners, and I'm like, there's got to be a way for me to do that. You know, I don't really have a desire to run 24 hours straight, but maybe 10, maybe 12. I've hiked that long. I've done 20-mile hikes. You know, what's an extra 5, 10, 20 miles, right? If you're conditioned enough, obviously these people can do it. And so it's kind of scary to say it out loud. You know, I haven't really said that to anybody yet, because we all have fear of not following through and not being able to accomplish it, or in this case, maybe getting injured and not being able to do anything. But I think this is a good year to let yourself and your own view of who you are just open up and grow, because this really is a year of ease. This is an incredible time to expand who you are and what you do in the world. And so, Carrie has a friend who has an app with a 50K training plan on it, funny enough. And so I'm not quite ready to start that yet, because I think that plan starts you at like a 60-minute run, which I'm not there yet. But when I am there, that might be an interesting thing to follow, because this person does do ultra marathons professionally. So it's probably some pretty good planning that she's got in there. But anyway, I just think I'm at the place now where I'm like, I probably could. I could do it. I'm sure I could. And that's really, it's a fun place, but there's also like a little bit of like uncertainty. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Do you know what I'm feeling?
I do. And I think for you, Rachel, it is about like, and I think we all get this. So I'm just going to reflect Rachel in the ultra marathon thing. It's like, I've never seen myself as an ultra marathoner before. I barely seen myself as any. I think I might want to do this, but I'm afraid to say it out loud, because if I say it out loud and then I like find out that I actually don't want to do it, then I'm going to feel bad about it. So, but here's the deal, right? The thing that you're excited about in ultra marathoning, you didn't once ever say, I want to feel like the physical tiredness. I want to know I've taken my body to its edge. I want to, like, that's not what excites you about it. What excites you about it is being able to see the world in that way, and to maybe do it in less time. And so I think that's the important part about the journey. And so maybe you sign up for a local trail run and you go 20 miles or 15 miles, or like, you know what I mean? You just don't know until you do it. And you remember, you just gave us this great analogy, right? Like your higher self is taking you on a journey and it sees the map and you don't. So right now the map is pointing you toward, hey, run a little more. You're interested in trail running, maybe try it, see where it goes. And who knows where it will take you. But I just want to like say that Rachel's not your, and I think there's a little bit about, can I actually do it? Am I physically capable? But it's a different, I'm thinking about if you're in the ultra running world, you've probably run into some David Goggins content. Have you run into his content?
He's not really for me.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Not that, like, you're not that ultra marathoner. You're like somebody else. And so I think that's so important for all of us to remember, like, this is your journey. It's not, my friend's name is Sally. Like, she might be an inspiration on the journey. She might be like a signpost on the path. You don't know. You don't know until you go. You may do one 20-mile race and be like, cool, I did that. Like, or you might wind up getting in your van and running trails and then getting in your van and driving somewhere else. Like, who knows? The point is, that's where you're being led to go right now. So go there.
Yeah, it's fun. I've actually been following this Canadian couple. His name is Jeff Pelletier, and his girlfriend is Audrey Lafreniere or something like that. They have French names, so it's hard to say, but really beautiful content. If you like mountain stuff, follow them. He makes wonderful films out of all of his adventures. And, you know, I do love a Sufferfest. I really do. So I definitely probably have the mentality for it, but the body, not quite yet. So that's what I'm working on. But whether it's competitive or not, even if it's not races, I just love the idea of being able to do more miles in a day, just so that I can be out in nature more and see more of the backcountry. Because right now I've got to turn around at like 7 miles, but if I could go longer, I could see a lot more.
And the things that you are excited about, I'm putting things together. Like, you have been excited about content, right? And you happen to be a content creator. And so I know one of the things early in my career as a life coach, I wanted to be like a running life coach. I just wanted to do I wanted to force people to run with me while I did the life coaching. And it's because like, that is my happy place. That's where I'm most joyful. And that's where, like, honestly, the most genius comes through me. And I can see you out on the trails creating content, getting downloads. Like, so I just want to point that out to you. Who knows? Who knows?
I know. I've already been looking up little action cameras.
Yeah. So move daily in the direction of your dreams and don't worry too much about how it all fits together. Just trust that it does.
I do.
It does. Yeah. And this is actually good. So the person that you follow, the friend of mine that Rachel follows, her name is Sally McRae. If anybody's curious, she's Yellow Runner on Instagram. And she posted something, it was maybe a year ago or something now, but I was like, after she had released her app and, you know, she's a professional trail runner and she's got this big career and she's kind of a trailblazer. So no one was doing what she does the way that she does it. When she became an ultra marathoner, it was for like long distance runners. And while she was able to run long distances, she was a soccer player. And the build of a ultra marathoner, like her body did not fit the build of an ultra marathoner. And now she has built this whole thing around really strength-based training for very long distances. But her whole philosophy is like, you got to lift and you got to kind of lift hard because your body has to be strong enough to endure this. And like, it doesn't seem so radical right now, but at the time that she leaned really heavily into this for her own training, it was radical. But she followed that still small voice inside of her. And now, like, her whole point a year ago was like, she's always wanted to help people with this. But when she started, it seemed kind of like a silly idea. And she just kept doing it little by little. At the time, she was acknowledging like, hey, I might look like an overnight success, but it's been 15 years in the making. But it was 15 years of being true to herself. 15 years of slowly looking around and noticing I'm building the life I always wanted. So there you go.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And I think another thing that we could point out here is like what Carrie was saying to me when she brought up David Goggins is like, you don't have to look anything like the people who are already doing what you want to do. You know, I had a friend who was starting to channel, and she was looking at one of my other friends, Daniel Scranton, who's a channeler, and he has a certain or did have a certain like daily thing. He went for a hike in the morning and then he channeled and then he came home, and she's like, well, I don't want to have to do that. I was like, you don't have to. That doesn't have to come with being a channeler, right? So, you know, you're making your own way in the world. And even if you have these signposts, like Carrie was saying, you're not having to follow any one person or any one way of doing something to the letter, right? You're going to have your own way of approaching it. So don't compare yourself or think that you need to strive to be something else. So yeah, that's important.
Well, we're nearing the end of our time, and I feel like we started with like, all right, people, bring us your celebrations. And we've kind of just run around talking about, as we do, we've been on a trail run of our own in this live stream today, looking at all the scenery and appreciating as it comes. But it all comes back to alignment, resonating with our personal truth. And letting, right, when you are in alignment, you can let serendipity be your guide, be your calendar, be your coach, be your, like, serendipity can do a lot. Yeah. And anyways, I guess I just want to say thanks for being on the journey with us, guys. And I see Rachel has put in the chat our membership. If you want to take the journey a little further, a little deeper, have a little more, I will run alongside you. Rachel will run, like, if we're going to use this analogy, Rachel will be like blazing the trail and I'll be running alongside you as we go. Come check it out. intuitiveart.com/membership. We are here for you. We have a community of incredible souls on this journey together. People I'm gonna celebrate that community for a minute. people's lives have radically and drastically changed on the journey because they put themselves in the room with other people committed to their lives radically and drastically changing. Dreams, I'm not exaggerating. Dreams have come true again and again and again and again. Small things like, I mean, it would be great if I could retire by whenever. And then recognizing, oh, crud, I can retire before whenever. Like all of that stuff and more is happening inside of our group. So if you really want your life to change and you're willing to put yourself in the room, come join us.
Yeah, we've made it really simple, as is the theme of the year, right? So join, you can pay monthly if you want, cancel anytime. If you know you want to be in there for a while, save a little bit of money and join for 6 months. It's all on that page. Go check it out. And we would love to have you. You know, think of this as the gym for your vibration, which is everything. So I love it. And I really love too that we got to kind of talk a bit about what happens when you are celebrating yourself is you grow. You see yourself as capable, right? I wouldn't be admitting this dream of mine here today if I didn't feel strong and capable, right? So I just love that celebrating, feeling worthy, noticing what you admire in the world elevates every single part of you and allows you, it puts you on a platform of being able to choose, where do I want to go next? What feels best to me? That's so invaluable. Yay.
All right. Let's close it out, Rachel.
Let's do it. Well, thanks everybody. We really love spending time with you. Thank you for sharing and celebrating with us. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. See you later, guys.
Bye, everybody.